of the biggest conversation in the policy right now is the hike in electricity tariff. Though it's for Band A users who are expected to have at least 20 hours of light in 24 hours, as described by the regulators, as well as that increment 225 kilowatts per hour is that increment from 66. So from 66 kilowatt per hour, that is one of the biggest conversations besides the issue of insecurity and all of that. So we're going to have like a bouquet of conversation on some of the things happening in the country and the policy direction of the government, as well as assessing how far that has come. I'm being joined on the program from our Abuja studio by a former member of the House of Representatives who represented Jos South and East Federal Constituency, Honorable Dachong Bagos. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Honorable Bagos, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Geoffrey. Good evening, Nigeria.
We're also joined via Zoom by the senator. He represented Rivers East Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Senator Andrew Uchendu. Senator Uchendu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Senator Uchendu, let me start with you. Apparently, I can see that you have electricity. I suspect that you're one of those in the Band A category, but that's on their side. How did you receive this information about the increment for that particular category of customers?
Yeah, thank you very much. First, let me correct the impression you have. I am supplying myself the power that I use. I have to generate. For the past 1 week, I've been generating power from my generator. So I'm not definitely going to be part of the brand that the law is envisaging. Strictly speaking, I have always held this view that any good decision or right decision taken at the wrong time will definitely be wrong. Any right decision taken at the wrong time will ultimately be wrong. Nigerians have had a fairly bad deal in recent times. It was important that fuel subsidy be removed, and it has been removed. And some of us did argue that possibly adequate preparations were not made in anticipation of obvious implications of subsidy removal. And so that very policy decision is biting hard on every Nigerian. So now come back 6 months down the line to talk about another subsidy removal, whether for Band A or Band B or Band C, will definitely ordinarily irritate most Nigerians. And I think it is coming at the wrong time. We would have allowed the negative effect of the petroleum subsidy removal to be properly controlled, calmed down before introducing any other subsidy removal. I think we seem to have been flogged enough, and I don't think it is right. But then, we do not think, I in particular do not think that anybody should enjoy subsidy, but we should do it at the right time, after taking into account appropriate measures that will ameliorate the consequences and implications of such a decision. Like I said, I am not part of the band, and because the statistics in Nigeria have always been very faulty, I don't know who qualifies to be in Band A and Band B and Band C. And by the time you know it, those who are in Band A that are supposed to be, enjoying 20 hours will be those who are supposed to be in Band B, because manipulations will always come in. And I think that if there are standard procedures, clear procedures of doing things from the word go, where proper statistics have been collected, these things can easily be categorized, and we will know from time to time who is in Band A, who is in Band B, and all that. Summarily put, this is not the right time to introduce further subsidies in Nigeria because we all are crying. The entire middle class have already been eliminated, and I don't think we can survive any more hardship.
Let me come to you, Honorable Bagos, because two of you now are private citizens. This is affecting everyone. He said that this increment, the timing is wrong. First, are you in one of those categories? Do you agree that the timing is wrong as well? Because I heard the NEC vice chairman yesterday said part of what is being done is to help that sector grow so that investors can come in. Because recouping investment in that sector has been a challenge, and there are a potpourri of issues around it. So I just wanted to get your initial reaction to all of this in terms of this increment that a couple of people are worried that after this, it could now get down to other categories of customers, since this affects every Nigerian, because the power cost or energy cost eventually affects the prices of goods and services, which is why it is a very important conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I quite agree with the distinguished senator. Not that just that the timing is wrong, but even the planning is wrong, Geoffrey, because at this particular time, why we supported initially the issue of fuel subsidy removal is that the notion that most of the monies for fuel subsidy was going or was enriching just a few. And in as much as even the removal, there was no proper plan for it to cushion the effect on Nigerians. Now you are having the electricity subsidy being removed again. So what are those plans that the federal government have put in place to cushion the effect on Nigerians? And subsidy itself, one thing we need to understand, there is no government in the world that does not pay subsidy for something to be able to cushion the effect on its citizenry. The UK that we are all copying or rushing to, or even the US, all of them have subsidies on certain certain sector of the economy that will cushion the effect of hardship on their own citizens. UK has its subsidy Act 2022 to look at how the subsidy regime will be able to cushion effect on health, agriculture, and others, to have a proper plan for subsidy. So in Nigeria now, removing the electricity subsidy, what is Nigeria really and truly subsidizing to cushion the effect of suffering on its citizenry? Because let the removal of subsidy not just be that we want to remove subsidy so that we save money. No, but let it be that what are those plans on ground to be able to see that, look, the effect of suffering on Nigerians is being cushioned. But if it is just to save money, I can tell you that this same money that is being saved from this subsidy removal will still end up in one or two people's pocket, because the first subsidy removal, Nigerians are not feeling it, because at the end of the day, we are talking about conditional cash or this or palliatives. Who today can we say that because of those palliative, it has now reduced the cost of price, food price in the market, or it has given us good road in certain areas, or we can now walk into the hospitals and get free drugs and whatsoever. The plan of the removal of the electricity subsidy at this particular moment, from my own view, it is wrong. And even the planning, it's wrong, because we need clear, look, we are all Nigerians. We're in a democratic dispensation that we shouldn't just wake up and say that we are taking something. We all have a stake in nationhood. We should be able to know that if 1.1 trillion naira is being, what is going to be, what is 1.1 trillion naira will be done? Is it going to be put into the renewable energy to see that, okay, we have wind, or we have solar, or we have more dams? How many dams do we even have today that we are not talking now to ensure that band A, band B, band C, or band whatsoever will get electricity at the end of the day? But even the band A, band B, the band A, is it situated on where we'll promote small-scale industry? Because without that, at the end of the day, businesses will suffer. Because at the end of the day, what is the essence of electricity in the first place? Is it just for me to have electricity in my room for 24 hours to put AC and watch TV? No. It should be able that, look, industries should be able to benefit. Small-scale businesses should be able to benefit. Channels that we are today, I'm very sure that even channels here is running on generator, should be able to, so that we'll be able to cushion the effect at the end of the day, that this electricity have reached to businesses, that the common man on the street will not feel the effect of production line, that the production chain that will now reach the common man at the end of the day is now being lessened. But if just the band A is just being taken to GRA and government premises, or just areas that the big man will sit down and say, no, government is doing well, then it is the very, very wrong approach. I want to see that electricity has reached Gudu, electricity has reached Apo, electricity has reached Aba Market, electricity has reached most of these areas that businesses are being carried out, and at the end of the day, when you go to Wuse Market tomorrow, you will not be hearing generators left, right, center. That is when we will now know that, look, government have channeled electricity to the common man to see that at the end of the day, output of the production line, it's now being reduced. But if just to take this band A to GRA and to whatsoever, then it is a very wrong approach at the end of the day.
Let me come to you, Senator Ochendo, on this one. Does it feel that the president's tenure, this is April, the next month is going to be May and all of that, January, February, March, April, May, and then it's going to be 1 year. So we have barely, maybe less than 2 months. So the first anniversary of this leadership under President Bola Tinubu. Do you think they are doing too many heavy liftings at the same time?
I agree with you completely. There are too many irons that have been put to the fire. But normally, in general management principles, when you want to introduce change, try and introduce as many as possible. But please, make sure you calculate and evaluate them properly. Introduce them all at the same time, and then the system, allow the system time, the gestation period to recover. I agree that some of the actions they are taking should come up at this time. My problem is that proper evaluation of the implications of such action were not really carried out. And that is where the problem lies. I'll give you an example. If fuel subsidy has been removed, as it has been removed, it does not make sense anymore for you to go and buy, talk of palliatives, buy rice and gare and milk, Indomie and all that, to start sharing to people free of charge. Meaning that the subsidy you have removed from fuel, you have now turned it into another subsidy. Because palliative is a support for the vulnerables. And when you think of it that way, you see that you have not made significant change in the system. Our reason being that proper analysis has not been done. But I must give it to the present administration. Few of the economic policies that have been initiated will yield the desired, outcome, because we must be directed to a position of growth where people will face realism. All along, we have been enjoying a lot of false life, living false life, engaging in
Senator Ochendo, if I may button, Senator, my apologies, because of what you just said and taking from what Honorable Bagos had said, is there nothing that the government can at least subsidize for the people at some point? Because it looks like the party is a centrist, should it be centrist left now, which is more populist and socialist, but a lot of capitalism is coming on and these people are profit driven. Isn't there something that should be subsidized in one form or the other if we take out everything?
Yeah, government must come in and support the people in a number of areas. I give you an example. Majority of Nigerians have left the land. Majority of the people have left agriculture. And this is one productive area that will engage many more hands in production. Engagement of these idle hands. Government could go the extra mile of providing enough resources for cultivation, for the farmers. In the area of oil palm, where I had my experience, if each of the states of the federation that are good in oil palm cultivation get involved in agriculture, in oil palm development, and develop 1,000 hectares, in their various states, they will be employing a minimum of 2,000 workers off the street. And these 2,000 workers will now be producing many more food for the society, for the public, for the government. And this is one way that people can now be subsidized. But if you provide them with the improved seeds, provide them with tractors, provide them with fertilizers, those are the direct productive ways of helping the people. Subsidize agriculture, subsidize education, subsidize their health. Then people will be stronger to now produce more. But to remove subsidy from petroleum and go and buy rice, instead of encouraging them to produce rice, is not the best. To subsidize, to take away subsidy from petroleum and then buy grains, instead of encouraging them to produce grains, is not the right way of subsidizing people. So that's my own thinking. There are many more ways the government can subsidize the people, but not by giving them food items to consume. That's why a lot of people say, teach me how to fish, don't give me fish.
All right, that's why our job as media is to, set the agenda and provide context. There's another issue besides the issue of subsidy, electricity, and all of that, which is insecurity. Let me come to you, Honorable Bagos. We've seen spate of kidnapping re-emerge again in the country, and it's quite sad to see this development. And recently, we've seen 17 soldiers killed in Okwama in Delta State. We've also seen policemen killed, and we understand that that operation is still ongoing. We've also seen, within the same Delta State, for instance, students being kidnapped, but they've been released. As a politician, as somebody who has served in public office, I want to get your take on what you make of when you see resurgence again of this level of insecurity that seem to defy common sense. Because sometimes you ask questions about our intelligence community and everybody put in place. Some of them are doing quite well, but sometimes the things that happen are baffling at the end of the day.
Yeah, you see, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, Geoffrey, is something that we have talked about this not once, not twice. The issue and the narratives have been the same. Nothing has changed. We recall many times that we say, look, if government did not do anything about insecurity, the holistic nature of insecurity, and just focus on the issue of banditry and allow kidnapping to now be an industry, it's going to be a very difficult one. The reason being, if you ignore some component areas in addressing insecurity and always giving the narrative of clash or giving it a religious coronation, instead of addressing the issue of insecurity by bringing in justice, the justice system into addressing insecurity, and now bring in technology into addressing insecurity, there is no any way, no matter the political will, and you don't bring the technical will into addressing insecurity, it will always be the same thing. Because now it's unheard to a developed nation or the country that knows what technology can do, and that 17 of our soldiers and policemen, 9 of them, will be killed in a community you can use technology to trace, even Google Map or geolocate, to see the movement, to see how they, it's something that the world should not even hear something like this happening in the 21st century. Quite unfortunate that the life of these gallant people have been lost. But it's still the same narrative on how our people have been killed in our villages, in places that we have ignored the technicality of addressing the issue of insecurity in Nigeria by avoiding the use of technology, by avoiding dispensing justice to people that have had issues long ago, and it has led to people being killed, because on every bullet that is being shot, there is always a reason. So today, what will you now say? How can you give justice to these families of these gallant people that have been killed? God forbid that this issue will just go like that and no justice is being dispensed. Just like the way for over since 2001 on the plateau, we have been talking of the justice system, that nobody is today being sentenced that as a result of what is happening. So if government continue to avoid the issue of, avoid the justice system, avoid technology in the issue of insecurity, addressing insecurity in Nigeria, these issues will continue in and out. And by the way, like you earlier said, our security agencies are gallantry people. They have the experience and the technical know-how. But do they have the equipment to address these issues? Just like it's just like the brain drain we're having on our medical personnel today, that most of them have now left the country after being trained in Nigeria, because they go out, they meet equipment that they have never seen in Nigeria, but because of their brain, they perform wonders out of the country, because they have seen technology to be able to do what they have learned. If our security agencies will have the same kind of equipment other security people have around the world, we will perform wonders. Where is the civil defense today? That is only the military that are everywhere. Where are the police? Where are negotiators that can go in developed worlds? You have people that are well-trained negotiators. But today, kidnapping is being done. Nothing. You don't even. I don't know if the police have trained negotiators. If all these agencies have trained negotiators that can be able to tactically using technology. We watch films on daily basis. So these are issues that Nigeria needs to take seriously in issue of technology in addressing insecurity.
I want to touch as many issues as possible. Let me come to you, Senator Uchendu, on this particular one. Now, insecurity is not unique to Nigeria. It's a global phenomenon. But there are dimensions we see in Nigeria that has taken some level of an enterprise scale. And one of the things people are worried about is the lack of action to deter people from going that path. So we speak to the issue of the judiciary and all of that. So what action from your experience at all levels now, I speak, can be done to ensure that it sends a shock wave to the system, that before you think of considering that line of criminality, you know that probably you're prepared to die or you're prepared to go to jail for the rest of your life, because it seems like nothing is happening to deter people as much as it should happen.
Well, I think the simple fact is this. An idle hand is the devil's workshop. Majority of the people that are involved in all these kidnapping, stealings, and all that are mainly the youths. And why are they involved in that? Because they are idle, they are not employed. The youths have two major assets at their disposal: an enormous amount of energy and enormous amount of time. And if these two elements, these two factors, are not properly harnessed for productive purposes, it will be harnessed by them for destructive purposes. This is what is going on. As far back as 2004, I remember a bill was sent to the National Assembly, to the House of Representatives when I was in the House of Reps. I said, the federal government must do something. That was my whole aim, to engage these idle hands. If not, a time will come when they will cane us publicly. And what the youth like most is to copy what is wrong. To copy what is wrong. At that time, it was the in in the Delta areas. And a lot of people felt that is the problem of the Niger Delta. And I did tell them that if they do not take care of that problem that was emerging from the creeks, it will go around this country, because the youth will want to copy. It has become an industry, a big one at that. And to address it frontally, federal governments must come, down and take the bull by the horn. We must get back to the youth to see what we can do for those who are not in school, for those who have fell out of school, for those who are not employed, and engage them. That is the simple way.
Senator Ochendu.
There must be a deterrent. When people are caught, there is no remedies. Just go to the court, and whatever the law says must be complied with. But the situation where people have committed crime, heinous crime, disturbingly act, and they take them to court, the issue now will become there's no that's striking out the case because of diligent prosecution. A lot of young men are languishing in prison custodies because of diligent prosecution. So, and after some time, the DPP will advise the government in power at that either the state level or the federal level to say, look, this will have no case to answer because there's no diligent prosecution, and they will now be brought back into circulation in the societies. So there must be the police and the judiciary must be up in arms to ensure that those who are caught one way or the other are properly disciplined.
Senator Ochendu, before we leave this issue of insecurity and as we begin to wind down, the issue of the Okwama community killing that, God rest their soul, the 17 soldiers that were killed, the military is still carrying out operations. In fact, they say they are collaborating with the police and all of that. A couple of people have not been able to enter there. We understand some of the community members are in the bush, and we hear all kinds of story. In your view, as a former lawmaker, would it be right for that operation to be sustained till this moment, given that we're running a democracy?
Yeah, I think the least an average Nigerian will do is to give the military every support. Because for young men to volunteer to defend the country is the highest price that one can pay. At the same time, there are standard operating procedures to, for engagement in exercises like this. And I thought that by now, the experiences of the military, of the armed forces, in the case of Rodi, in the case of Zaki Biam, and many others, will serve as a good lesson on how to approach situations like this. I am not really, I join the majority of Nigerians in condemning the killing. Anything murder is bad. The exercise, that action was bad and must be condemned by all and sundry. However, we have seen what is going on all over the world. Even in Ukraine, even in Kyiv, even in Gaza, CNN reporters are in there to report live to the populace, to the international community, what is really going on. So I think a lot of Nigerians will feel a little bit uncomfortable if they don't know what is going on in Okwama.
All right, Senator. So my apologies because of time. Let me take it to Honorable Bagos. Honorable Bagos, your take on this particular issue of the military still carrying out operations. This happened, I think, about 15th of March. The soldiers have been buried. People are a bit divided that everybody literally condemns what happened. Every right-thinking and discerning individual condemns the killing of our gallant soldiers. But the operation being carried out, led by the soldiers and all of that, is what people are divided over. I had the guest who served in the U.S. military who said at this point the FBI will take over, of course, in collaboration with the military. So what should the military do differently so that they don't lose the goodwill of the people?
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate joining condemning the issue, the killings, but most importantly, they should be guided by rules of engagement. Every security agency has its rules of engagement. So whatever the engagement is, yes, it's already a crime scene. So in condoning a crime scene, there should be rules of engagement that it should be an open thing that we should be able to know what kind of engagement the military are doing. Let it not be an issue that it will snowball into the next community as well. So basically, we advise the military to engage through their rules, and at the same time, what will be so pertinent and important to the Nigerian public and to families of the gallant soldiers that have been slain is that justice, they should be able to get justice. So through their rules of engagement, it's not just closing the community, but justice should be given to those gallant soldiers that have been slain. by seeing that, okay, these are the suspects and they have been arraigned and these are proofs and so on and so forth. That is very key to the, in the democratic setting of a nation, to see that the justice system, like I said earlier, is being upheld, that families are being seen to be carried along.
Gentlemen, I must thank you so much for your thoughts and insight on this particular issue. But I can't leave without, since I have the benefit of having Senator Ochendu, just a quick take. We just have barely 2 minutes to the end of this conversation. Senator Ochendu, a lot is going on with Rivers politics. At some point, it was like everything had not necessarily settled, but we saw Governor Siminala Ifubara come out again to blow hot, and he says he's daring them to hold back whatever they are trying to do to him, else he's going to do things that no one will believe. So I don't know what you make of what we call the political imbroglio of the Rivers politics, of Rivers State politics, as well as the some of the happenings behind the scene. You are there, you understand how these things work.
But the unfortunate, I would have been surprised if you didn't raise this issue with me this evening. I am really surprised that a good number of Nigerians have kept quiet and watching the trend. You know, this is not good enough. We know that what is going on in Rivers State is condemnable. It's unacceptable. Government is being ground to a halt, and the people are suffering. Nobody thinks of the citizens. You know, there is no personalization of governance. Election has come and gone. I'm not a member of the PDP, but the PDP, in their wisdom, produced him as a candidate, and according to what INEC said, that declared him winner, the highest court in the land has come. Can we allow the young man to do his job as the governor of the state? A situation where the House of Assembly will be antagonizing themselves with the governor does not make for peace in the polity. And there's no way development will come in. We are interested in development. Those who are concerned about what's going on in Rivers State should please, you know, step back and allow us to breathe. The state belongs to all of us. No one individual, no one tribe owns the state. This is the point I would like to stop. Because if I go further, I may be personalizing issues because I'm not a member of the party. But I am, you know, a citizen of this state, of Rivers State, that should feel concerned. The governor is not being allowed to do his job as an elected governor of the state. And Nigerians should rise up and condemn what is going on. I don't know who is wrong, who is right, but the governor has his constitutional powers to discharge, and he is being strangulated.
Senator Andrew Ochendu represented Rivers East Senatorial District in the National Assembly. Thank you so much for your time and coming on the program. Honorable Dachong Bagos represented Just South and Just East Federal Constituency. I wanted to have your take on Rivers politics, but we're totally out of time. I understand because we're due for a break. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. We appreciate you.